Hey everybody, this is Obi-Wan Pez. Tonight I'm doing something a little bit different. I've got a game called Variant. This is by Triceum Software. They are an educational company that is looking to create educational video games. They have 3 other games that deal with art called Arte, I think A-R-T-E. One for Mechanas, one for Hemot, and one for Lumiere. Mechanas is an art history strategy game experiencing the Italian Renaissance of 15th and 16th centuries. Hemot is going back into ancient Egypt, and Lumiere is experiencing the birth of Impressionism. Variant is their 4th game, which is not completed. Game 1 of 4 is called Variant Limits, and that's the one I have here. And 3 future games are expecting to be released in fall of 2020. Now, in my other life, I am a mathematics teacher, so I picked up Variant Limits, as well as bought into the future games. We'll see how they go. Maybe I'll do some sort of video for them too. So you can see I've already played this. This was last year was the last time I played this, so we'll give it a shot. The graphics are pretty good. It's a little bit rough, but the idea was interesting to me, so I decided to pick this up. So if we pick, I apologize by the way if you can't actually see my cursor. I can't see it on OBS. Alright, so I'll enter this one, Variant Limits, and start. We'll show the subtitles just in case. Variant Limits is specifically looking at limits, and those of you who understand limits, you've been in Precalculus or Calculus. This is an intro topic to Calculus 1.
The power of the very stars. It has raised our civilization to heights that were once beyond our imagination. Now, the very power that made us what we are threatens to destroy us, just as it devastated our ancestors millennia ago. There is such beauty on our world, and in all that we have built. All this will be lost as the stars send us once more into darkness, or end us forever. But perhaps all is not yet lost.
Equa. It's time. I will aid you if I can, but it is you who must rise to the challenge ahead. Equa, wake up.
Like I said, in my other life, I am a math teacher. The mathematics behind all of this is well researched, well studied. It's mostly looking at, this game is mostly looking at gamification.
Yet you still do not remember me, but don't worry. Good. Yes, move your limbs before they seize up like last time. I don't know where you go when you disappear, but you always reappear here, at the centroid. Alas, I don't remember who, or even what, I am, nor do I truly know who you are. But I know The planet is in grave danger if we do not act soon. It's confusing, I know, but you're going to have to trust me.
No. Yeah, walk with the big lit up stripe on the ground. I thought I was following the other
You
things.
need to master the panoptica implanted in your retina. Hold on, it will activate momentarily.
New panoptica access confirmed. Identify Equa, unregistered visitor. Identify Solari, registered entity of unknown origin.
Unknown, it says. As if we haven't been working together for months now. No, I mustn't get distracted. Preceptor, is Equa's staff configured for the local conditions?
Analysis suggests functional improvements can be attained by connecting to a suitable data node.
There's one ahead. Let's push onwards. You should be able to jump that safely.
I can mark gaps that I predict are safe to cross via self-propulsion on the panoptica.
There's a lapis vox nearby. Preceptor, can the staff access the recording?
Affirmative, but it must first be reconfigured at a data node.
Like this one here, you mean?
Phonebox resonator configured. Updating panoptica to display new interactions.
Try it out on the lapis here. We'll see what it says.
Okay. This is the problem. I forget exactly what I'm supposed to do here. There's not a whole lot of controls either, so you only have so many things that you could possibly do. Interact key is E by default, so I would have assumed that that would be it. But lovely. I think I had this problem when I first played it too. Nope. There we go. Find the item right behind me.
It's recording? Amazing. We finally done it. The crystal fragment, shall we say the lapis vox, is imprinting the audio frequencies like a footprint in the sand. Castor and I work so well together. The tone box is a complete success.
One of the earliest successful uses of the lapis crystal at the dawning of the Third Age was to provide voice recordings. The lapis vox technology imprints frequencies into the crystal lattice in a manner that is stable and long-lasting. Through a suitable device, known as a tone box, these recordings can be accessed at a later date.
No, I don't recommend that everybody go out and buy this thing. It is meant just sort of as an experimental supplemental material for teaching Calculus 1. I think it's rather interesting. There are times when it kind of drags on a little bit. On the Triceum website, it says that where typical homework platforms rely on repetitive drills, which from personal experience is absolutely true, Variant Limits presents experiential explorations that motivate students to play and learn. They don't just memorize or regurgitate information, but rather learn to apply it. Zone 1 is going to look at the nature of points. Zone 2 is functions, function relationships to limits and limit laws. Zone 3 is relating continuity to limits, and Zone 4 is asymptotes. I know that I had some problems in a couple of these sections just because I didn't know exactly what they were trying to do.
The Preceptor can mark the path forward on the Panoptica.
Confirmed. However, you may disable the navigation path at any time should you acquire a desire to become lost.
The conservatory seems to have become overgrown. You may have to do some climbing here.
I can mark walls that may be traversed via vertical ambulation on the panoptica.
something more about the centroid, but in truth, I am uncertain of its function. The technology here seems slightly more complex than any. These rifts can take us where we need to be. Although, even the Preceptor doesn't seem to know how they work.
Incorrect. Portals are activated by perambulation onto platform.
That's...
Alright, should have waited for that one.
The Eosan Peninsula. We are not far from the Citadel, but I doubt any of the control stations there have survived the battering of the solar flares. Preceptor, can you access the power matrix data feed from here, or do we need to get closer?
Testing. Unable to comply. Disruptions to the photomoneric network are too severe.
There have to be some working consoles somewhere nearby.
The sheer ingenuity of the First Era astounds me. To use the veins of crystal beneath the ground to channel power? Astonishing. We have no idea how the power matrix was established, yet we rely on it every day for distributing photomoneric energy. I would like nothing more than to see the equations and schematics that made this incredible technological achievement possible.
So anytime you want to get out of conversations or, well, the data boxes that you're listening to, you have to right-click, but the mouse is pretty much useless other than that.
Have disrupted a great many systems. You're going to have to redirect power flow if we're to cross here. See that blue node? It isn't receiving power. We need to find an emitter to send a beam of light to the node. When it's glowing brightly, we'll know we've successfully tapped into the power matrix.
Okay, so here, place the left-sided orb on a graph at the point of interest. So here, just taking the left-sided orb, putting it on the point of interest, and the bridge extends. So in terms of mathematics, this indicates that it has a limit from the left-hand side. So everything, the line coming from the left-hand side has values that approach this particular value. On the right, there's absolutely nothing here. And so we have a hollow space in the right-hand side of this particular orb. Okay, so in this case, we want to know which one has a limit, again, from the left-hand side. So as we approach from the left, which of these 2 points has values that are on the left, and that would be this one down here. Again, it has no input from the right. That corresponds with this line that was down here. The right-hand side jumps all the way up here, so didn't really fit. Alright. Moving on.
Something is seriously awry here.
The energy limiter to this emitter has been disrupted.
That's not as bad as it could be. You should be able to use your staff to attune the limiter to its crystal.
So we look at all of the different points of interest. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. And we need to put on 4 that have limits from the left-hand side only. So again, same deal as before. From the left-hand side, this goes up to here, and it has nothing corresponding on the right. This has nothing on the left, so we ignore it. This has stuff on both the left and right, so we're going to ignore that. This has stuff both left and right, so we're going to ignore that. This has stuff only from the left, so we'll place an orb on that one. This is interesting, because we still have 2 points left. Oh wait, is this one where we just... no, okay. Some of them, you don't actually have that many. Well, let's go like this. This has no limit from the left, so we'll skip it. This one has a limit from the left. It also has a limit from the right, but we'll ignore that for now, just because we're only doing left-hand ones. And then this one, again, has stuff on the left. Also has stuff on the right, but still, they all have left-handed limits. I get it now. Like I said, it's been a year.
Safety mechanisms ensuring the safe transition of power between a crystal and the device it powers. Each limiter is programmable, allowing the functions controlling energy input and output to be adjusted. Since the standardized notation was introduced, orbs upon a graph interface have been used to simplify function coding. Accessing mapping station.
Can you connect to the power matrix data feed from here?
Negative. No modulated data signal within the local photomoneric network. However, power tracking pulse remains active, indicating the distributary is still intact.
At last, some good news. If anywhere still has data access, it'd be the main power tracking station. Plug it out into the city. There's no time to lose.
These are looking at right-handed limits. Oh, sorry. And this one has a left-handed limit, so this has a left-handed limit coming all the way up through here to that point. This one has a right-handed limit starting at the right and moving left up until here. Alright, so one part of the bridge is working. Come over here, we do the same thing for a different function. This has 3 lefts and 3 rights. This one again has a left. And in this case, this is what's known as a staircase function, or greatest integer function. So here you've got stuff that has, this point has other points to its right and none to its left. So it has a right-handed limit. And then each corresponding one at the end has a left-handed limit, but not a right-handed limit. Let's see what this is.
It is well known that the Mantha of the Third Era never recovered the entire technological prowess of the First Era. Most significantly, the knowledge of how to grow new lapis soul was never regained, and thus the power matrix could not be directly modified. The creation of emitters provided an ad hoc means of extending the reach of the underground crystal network by firing beams of light to transfer power. Nodes upon every device receive power, and glow to indicate they are connected to the matrix. In this way, the Mantha of the Third Era compensated for the limits of their knowledge through application of their ingenuity.
Okay, cool. Alright, so now we go across the bridge. Maybe. Huh. Apparently missed something. Oh, yep, there we go. Alright, so I should have done this first to figure out what right-hand limits were, but, you know, it's fine. Alright, then we get another one in the house.
2 centuries after the rise, Kalos held a grand ceremony at the Citadel, to which all the Mantha were invited. He asked his twin daughters what they should do with the nanocrystals to advance Manthan society. Ava gave an impassioned speech about understanding the mysteries of the universe, the empowerment of philosophy and art, and the pursuit of the ideals of a perfect society. Vatra spoke instead of the crystal's capacity to enhance everyday life, to create superior housing, new transportation systems, and practical improvements to all aspects of Manthan life. Kalos was so moved by his daughter's visions that he decreed that each should have a city built in their name, where their dreams could be made a reality. End of log.
Alright, so this is Ava's notebook. I used to love coming here to ponder the aesthetics of the landscape and the origins of the lapis soul. I don't know what I enjoy more, contemplating their beauty or decoding their mathematical mysteries. Lapis soul, the largest kind of crystal known, capable of harvesting photomoneric energy within their lattices. Translation from Ava's personal logs. Imagining that there's another one. Surprise, surprise, for Vatra. Somewhere. Okay. Again, kind of lost as far as where to go. Just kind of wander a minute. So there should only be one thing somewhere around here that is... Oh, you know what? Set a second one. G. There we go. So this particular stand, whatever it is, energy limiter, right, will only have one path that it can go on. So it can either power the F function or the G function. So we did F to get the personal logs, and we can do G to get the door open. So again, we want the right-hand limits. So what points have right-hand limits? This is going to be these three at the bottom, and the one at the top right.
Excellent work.
Alright, there we go.
Alas, the bridge is broken. You won't remember the lapis omnis from our last meeting. Preceptor?
Everything that receives power has an energy limiter. If that is damaged or out of tune, no energy can be channeled to it.
If we're going to get further along this path, you're going to have to try and fix some of these broken limiters.
Since energy is required to power devices, malfunctioning energy limiters disable equipment entirely.
I don't want to get too far ahead just in case somebody is actually listening to the conversations. If you activate a new area, it will talk over the old one. Alright, so what do we have? This immediate area, we've got two vines that we're going to climb up. Probably in turn.
I must apologize, Equa. I haven't really told you anything about the crisis. In truth, there is not much I can tell. Solar storms have been intensifying for years now, building towards a second great cataclysm, one that would render our world uninhabitable. The planet appears to have been evacuated. To where and by what means, I have absolutely no idea.
Confirmed. No records exist for the current location of the Mantha.
And then, there's you. You have been appearing, working with me. But we don't know where you are coming from, or even who you are. Somewhere in the Citadel, or the great city that surrounds it, there must be answers to some of our questions.
Alright, so this one's a little bit different. This has a filled-in circle on the inside, and the outsides are blank. So what that means is we want to know where there is a value that exists, rather than a limit. So instead of talking about the values around a certain point, this is talking about the value at a certain point. So unlike this hollow point here, this has no value at that point, but it has value around it. So here, the point here, 0, 2, ended up having this point that was just by itself. Nothing was around it. Alright, a transmat has been partially activated, so I'm guessing that's trans matter, material, yeah. Fans of Doctor Who will know the word transmat, so it's just some sort of transmission of matter, i.e. transporter. Alright, then we can go over to this side and maybe go up this hill. See what's here. Batra's log. Why do people with no enemies need a watchtower? It is a fair question to ask. I'm forever glad it was built, however. I took some of my first geographical and astronomical calculations from here long before the observatory was built. Right. doesn't appear to be anything else useful. I suspect that this was just to say, like, you can't get through that door, so we need a transmat. I hope that wasn't the only reason it existed, but it's possible. So the gameplay is, I don't want to insult them, but you know, it is a little bit clunky. Just because I am not controlling the camera at all. All I'm controlling is the direction that Equa moves. Alright, well. Alright. I totally forgot. At the top, the energy limiter that I had there was programmed for both F and G, so we have to go back in and got F connected, now we gotta activate G. Okay, so at what points do we have values at those points but not around them? Or we don't care about the points around them. So here we do have a point. Here we do have a point. Here we do have a point. And here we do have a point. Alright, bridge is up. Yeah, so what they said there was which points have actual values on the points. Okay, so again, same thing here. Which 3 points have actual values at them? So 1, 2, 3. These are our solid points. I forgot G again. This is saying what point has a value, a limit value from the left, which 2 have limit values from the right, and which just is a point by itself. Or, at the very least, find the best description for each one. So, this point on the end is going to be the only one that has a limit just from the left, and it doesn't have one from the right. The 2 hollow points have limits from the right. Granted, this one also has limits from the left. And then that leaves just the point by itself. So as it says here, a point of interest may have multiple traits, but these orbs only need to match one trait. So that's sort of the challenge, is to figure out the puzzle in terms of which one do you need to worry about for now. So again, same thing here. 2 left, 1 right, and empty. Well, it's not entirely empty. And single point. So single point we already know. A limit just from the right is going to be the last one here. And a limit just from the left, this one here. And then this one has a limit from both. So again, we're using both. Oh, you know what? Yeah. We need F in order to make the transmat actually work. Is that what it is? Maybe a third one? Okay, so logically speaking, you need to make sure that you have the bridge needs to remain extended I remember now. Alright, so we activate G on the one that is past the bridge, which activates the bridge. Then we can go back. This is a one-way trip. Activate F on the one that is on the far side of the bridge. The bridge is still being held by the one that was on the opposite side. And now we activate F. The bridge goes away, but we don't care. Keep hitting escape. Alright, now the transmit is lit up. And we will teleport.
It's humbling to think that Mantha of the First Era had far greater command of the Lapis Omnis, the crystals that power all aspects of our lives.
Valid assertion. Yet this superior technical competence provided no adequate defense from the escalating solar flares that brought their civilization to an end.
I fear history might be repeating itself.
So again, do F. This has... Oh, create. I see. So now we can choose which one we want to use. So we want the one that is just limit to the left and hollowed center. We pick it up and move it on there. We will also activate G while we're here. Alright, this has values up both the left and right, but not at the point itself. So we'll activate both sides and have a bit of a donut. Alright, so that's the bridge in the distance is open, but none of the doors around us have opened. So we do F, and it opens the door near us.
The three eras of the Mantha stand as evidence to the remarkable capacities of the species. Despite their technological advancement, the Mantha of the First Era lacked the means to prevent the escalating solar flares that brought their time to an end. In the Second Era, exiled beneath the ground by the devastation of the Cataclysm, the Mantha were reduced to fragile refugees. With the rise, however, these nomads from a greater past proved their tenacity and ingenuity, escaping from the perils below and out into the lush world waiting above. It cannot be denied that the First Era possessed greater competence with the Lapis Omnis, the nanocrystals that power all aspects of Manthan life. Yet who can deny the evidence? Those of the First Era were still rendered powerless in the face of the Cataclysm. End of log.
The solar flares are not the only problem we are facing. I am convinced of it.
Confirmed. Coronal ejections cannot be responsible for seismic activity.
The data feed that piggybacks on the power matrix is our best hope for answers. We just have to find somewhere that still has access to it.
Alright, so for this one we've got 2 points that are just by themselves. There are no points immediately surrounding either of them, so we're just going to use the single dot points, or single dot limits, which have no limit from either side, but the value itself is present. Conversely above, we have here that both sides are have points attached to them, but the centers are empty. Go through and put those on. Alright, go downstairs, find this one, F again. So we need to create enough that we've got enough for 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 points. Got all 7 there. Alright, so this one at the top has both left, right, and center. So this is completely filled in. And then the one here at the bottom, this is at 2, 1, has a limit just from the left and not from the right, and it does not have a value itself. So one-sided left limit only. The one up above here is a solid point, so that's going to be filled in center, and it approaches. Has values on the right of it. So put that in. One next to that has values on the left, and it itself has a value. Going to 3-1, we have values on the right, but nowhere else. Going to 4-2, we have values on the left and right, but not the center. And at 4-1, we have, again, just the single value at the point itself and nowhere else. So that's going to go there. Alright, so once we put that in, another door is open. So that's opening the door underneath. No longer need the door on our left, so we can activate G, and it will activate the bridge instead of a different door.
Another solar flare. There's no time to lose.
Time passes, but cannot be lost.
A metaphor, Preceptor? Try and wrap your inflexible mind around the idea.
Just out of curiosity, what was over here on this little island? Gazebo. Okay, just a nice view. Very loosely, this reminds me a little bit of The Witness. Anybody else has played that? Very puzzle-heavy and
The
logical.
building of the new cities was tasked to Castor, who Kalos treated as if he were a son. Working together with Kalos's daughters, Castor found ways to bring their unique visions to life. Thus were built the Twin Cities, far beyond the walls of the Citadel. End of log.
This gate will take us through to the Citadel, but we'll need to get it enough power first.
Redirecting sufficient power from nearby sources will permit the functioning of this gate, enabling access to Eosas.
I literally just said that.
Alright, so as before, we have 3 of each of the exact same things. So here we have values on the right and at the points themselves, so right and center. And these other 3 have values on the left, but not either at the points or on their rights. So those are taken off. Okay. Go back in. Change G. Again, do the same thing. So this has values on the left and right. This has values left, right, and center. And this one has values left and right only. Apologies to anybody, it's getting a little late here and I'm slowing down a bit. Alright, so this one has values on the left. This has values in the center and right. This has values both left, right, and center. This has values left and center. And this has values right only. Alright, so all 3 are currently opened. We activate F. That's what we wanted. Or no, there's no power to the gate. Alright, so then G opened. My problem was I think H did not open the door, so I got a little confused on it. Alright, F. See this nice little smiley face thing? We're doing the same thing as always. Again, left only. Down here, this is right and center. This next point is left and right. This next point up here is just the single point itself. This point here is left and center. And this one is right only. Depending on how you are labeling your points, it may be slightly different. Alright, now it makes sense. The other door needed 2 things of power in order to make it work. Right, I didn't actually notice the number of orbs that are up there. Seems obvious now. Alright, so F. You jerks. Okay. Left here is center and right. Here is left only. Down here is going to be center and right. What? Let's just do it this way. And this is going to be center and left. This one is going to be right only. This one is going to be left only. Alright, we'll deal with that. Alright, this one up here is going to be center right, and then followed by left only, center right, and center left. This one is going to be left only, or sorry, right only. This one is left and right. This one is left and center. This is right only. This is both. I missed one. Oh, there's the point. And center left. Individual points, just get the center. Alright, this one had a verification button at the bottom, so that was also a bit distracting for a minute there. Alright, now that that's done, we need to change where this is all pointing. So we activate H, now we get enough power to go into the main gate.
The gate is open now. Let's get into the city.
Right, and that is section 1 of variant, specifically variant limits. If there is any interest in continuing this, I'll probably do a few more anyway, but those of you who are calculus students out there, good luck, math on. it's a fun course. You just gotta make sure you keep up with the amount of work. Alright, see y'all later. This is Obi-Wan Pez signing off.